What's up, cruel world? Probably shouldn't say that. It's actually a pretty good world we live in. I think sometimes we just get lost in our place or where our focus is due to emotions or triggered responses. Yeah, I'm driving. Same car, similar t-shirt, all clean, and a different day. So, to my followers out there, hey, what's up? Just gonna kind of go off on a random thought pattern here based on some comments that were made. Again, what's at the forefront of our news and our social media. Again, I'm just trying to provoke maybe different thinking, rational thinking, and maybe at least an idea or a concept of understanding and seeing things from a different perspective. You don't necessarily have to agree with. However, you shouldn't dismiss somebody else's point of view. All right. Not trying to send mixed messages, but, this whole stay home isolation versus I have the freedom to do what I want. And I can see both sides of it. Okay, we absolutely have the constitutional right to be free. And many who both sides would consider wise people in the past have reiterated that or made comments to that effect, that if you're willing to give up your freedom for a little bit of a sense of security, then you're not free at all, or something to that effect. And I would absolutely agree with that. So going back to my first video, where whose responsibility is it to take care of yourself, or whose responsibility is it for your health? It is absolutely only yours. Is there things people can do as a whole to help? I would absolutely say yes. But you cannot absolutely at all rely on any of that. At the end of the day, nobody's going to hold you down and feed you. If you're hungry, you have to feed yourself. If you are worried about even I make mistakes, and I probably won't even edit that out because I'm human and I want people to be able to relate to this. If you're worried about germs, wash your hands. Clean surfaces in your house. You can't just assume that the last person that touched that door handle in front of you washed their hands, or doesn't have germs on them, or didn't sneeze in their hands, or insert scenario here. What it comes down to is the fact that regardless whether somebody protested at the state capitol or somebody was with their friends on the beach, that door handle you touch, you have no idea who touched it before you. Furthermore, you can't determine that just because they didn't go out to a public affair that they're not asymptomatic or didn't get it through other means. Heck, I'm not so sure that this virus can't be carried on the mail or packages that are delivered to your house. So the only sure way is to practice good hygiene. Wear rubber gloves if you're worried about it, but take them off before you get into your vehicle, before you start touching other random things. Doctors don't walk into work and put gloves on. Nurses don't do it either. Nurse techs or anyone else put gloves on and go their whole shift wearing the same pair of gloves. It's not sanitary. They remove them after every patient interaction. There's times they change them in between the same patient interaction. Why? Because that's how you eliminate or reduce cross-contamination. It's not rocket science. Man, you guys get a lot of false sense of security by wearing your gloves. I watched a lady the other day. She left a venue. She had rubber gloves on, driving her car. When she got there, they were already on her hands. She came into the venue, did her thing, messed with her face mask a couple times with the same gloves on, walked out of the venue, meticulously peeled those gloves off, rolled them up and stuffed them in her pocket. I'm not exactly sure what she thinks is going to happen with that, but it's absolutely giving her a false sense of security. So, you can yell, scream, kick, and cry. Stay home. Stay the F home. It's really falling on deaf ears. Okay? I agree we should definitely minimize our exposure. We should minimize our time outside, maybe even. I'm no epidemiologist or, insert degree here. But I am a fairly intelligent individual, and I can think for myself. And at the end of the day, just because somebody was out gallivanting or whatever you want to call it, or stayed at home, your chances of getting this virus lie solely on your ability to keep your own hygiene under control. So I love the fact that people want to sit there and berate other people for different points of views and different perspectives. Oh, well, you said this, and it's just not the same. There's death in this one. You know, when you made your analogy and you made the cross-reference, they're not the same because of X, Y, and Z. And yeah, I guess at the surface, at the broadened scale of it, your words may be correct. So, yes, influenza and COVID aren't the same disease. However, the best way to avoid either one is the same. We have failed as a society to bring things down to their basic forms. And let me give you an example, completely unvirus related. And this does absolutely pertain to just about anything. You can't put it on the middle of the shelf or add fluff and stuff or add lipstick and a dress to it and call it something different, because at the end of the day, the bottom line is the simplest form, right or wrong. Here's what I mean. I guarantee almost every single one of you watching this video, if I were to pose the question, is it okay to steal? You would say no. There may be some right-brained thinkers out there who want to challenge that and say, well, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's an excuse. Okay, there's always exceptions to the rules, or you might even be able to justify a perceived exception to the rule. Like, well, oh God, if we're in the zombie times and you need something for survival, is it okay to steal it? Well, you know, that's called survival. I think at that point the terminology kind of changes. The definitions are kind of no longer the same. But let's just, for simplicity, keep it along the lines of today, would it be acceptable if somebody came into your house, took all the food out of your house, took all your valuables, took your money, and left? I would dare say 100% of you would say, no, that is absolutely unacceptable. Now, let's just change it a little bit and say, hey, that person that stole all those valuables has a child at home that has a rare genetic disease and they can't afford health care. They can't afford the treatments. And their spouse is dying of cancer and they can't afford those. Does that now change the dynamics and make it acceptable? No, it doesn't. As sympathetic as I am to their situation,